Happy New Year! We're live, I think. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is a new year. And glad you're joining us today on Help Me Help Mama LiveCast. And hope you had a great New Year yesterday and you had a little time with your family and friends. And we did with us. This us. So that's kind of rare, wouldn't it?
Happy New Year.
So, yeah, our kids were all out and about doing other things. So, is this us? And we had a good New Year's meal. And the stuff you're supposed to eat, greens, potatoes, black-eyed peas, and salt pork. So, that's the stuff. We just had something flash up on the camera here.
I just love it. All this technology.
Yeah. So, it's just us today. Matt's not here, so he's busy too. We're all busy. So, anyway, thank you for joining us today. And we're going to cover some caregiver questions today because we got some more and we appreciate you sending those in. Please continue to do so. And we see a few little likes and hearts going across the screen, so thank you for that. Lets us know you're here and you're live. And so appreciate all of that good stuff. What's the first one? We got Tammy Salazar said, the hardest thing for me as to care for my mother is getting that one-on-one time for myself. You know, a lot of times there's not much one-on-one time, is there?
You know, but I think right there at the top of the things that you have to do as a caregiver is take care of yourself. Because, you know, as I've said so many times, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of someone else. Because your health will start to decline and you could even get depressed. Talking about me time, one of the things that we got for Christmas was a spa day, which was
a spa day.
A spa day. So Doug's going to go with me to the spa for one day. That'll be interesting. That
will be interesting. I don't know that I've ever been to a spa in my life, but matter of fact, I've never been to a spa in my life.
No.
I don't even know what a spa is, but that will be, that'll be interesting. So, but you know, for caregivers,
wouldn't that
a
be
lot
perfect?
of times this is very important, just to take some time, and we talk about this a lot, and this is one of the biggest questions that we get is respite time off, or how do I get some time, or how do I get family to help, which that's another issue. But you know, if you don't take time off and take time for yourself, if you crash and burn, then what's going to happen to your loved one?
You know, for a lot of people, the holidays is just kind of extra hard. It's extra work to do. It's emotionally taxing. It's an extra. You almost get to I almost get to overload by the time the holidays are over. I mean, Thanksgiving is pretty close into the Christmas holiday, and then you pile New Year's on top of that, and it's just a whole lot. And then I can only imagine, you know, if you've got all of that, plus you're caring for someone 24 hours a day. That's like piling extra bricks on top. It's a really heavy load. So, in all seriousness, do something for yourself, even if it's just 15 minutes. Make a plan to get your first 15-minute escape, and do that for you. Do some stretching or some yoga or some meditation, deep breathing exercises. Do something for you because you deserve it.
And then write it down. You know, write down, you know, today I took 15 minutes off, an hour off. Someone stopped by to watch Mama for a few minutes and let me walk around the block, or let me go to Walmart, or let me do, you know. And there was a post on her Facebook page. You know, only a caregiver would understand that. You know, taking a trip to a grocery store is like a mini vacation, and it was said like in half jest, but I mean, in all seriousness, a lot of times we just get so bogged down, we just need that time off, and there's some people that, well, you shouldn't look at it that way. I want to spend time with Mama, and yeah, you do. And I mean, Cindy you went through it with your mama, and you were there. You was there pretty well all the time, and you do want to. If you didn't want to spend time with her, you wouldn't be doing it. You'd be finding some reason or excuse not to do it. And I mean, we got that. You know that part. But even though you want to be there and you're doing it all the time, you still need time off. You still need to take a break, regardless of who you are. So hopefully you can, this in 2018, find some people, even, number one is paid caregivers, and, you can always bring them in if there's money to do so. But who else is there that can provide these little 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour respites that's so important that this gives you a chance to get out and clear your head? And there's probably friends or family that will do that. Family, a lot of times, even if, and there's been a lot of posts on here about it's so hard to get family to do anything. But there's been other posts, people that said, even if you find this little, tell them specifically what you need. I need your help for 30 minutes today. A lot of times they'll show up for 30 minutes. They may not show up for the hard stuff, or they may not show up for a long period of time, but they may show up for 30 minutes or show up for an hour, and every little bit helps. So give that a shot. So Shirley, thank you for that. Tammy, thank you for that. Susan says seeing someone having to need the help. Yeah, a lot of times we see other caregivers need help, and what can we do to help? I think a lot of times, on this support group, and this seems like a little thing, but on helpmehelpmama.com, it's a virtual group. Tell them about this. We see so many questions and comments and words of encouragement and support from other caregivers that helps. It helps more than you know. Well, you do know you're here, but it helps a lot just from other caregivers to say, way to go. How many people say that when you're in the trenches doing it? Not many. Not many. You're doing a good job today, Cindy. Just keep up the good work. Yeah. I mean, that helps. That
would help a lot.
That's a little thing that don't cost anything.
It don't cost anything, and it would help so much.
And today, it's just us today, and we see the questions and the comments flashing up on the screen, but we can't see them because they're little bitty font, and it's a long ways away.
See that well.
And we apologize for not responding to each of you individually today. Thank you for the comments. We really do appreciate it. We just can't see them. And so we'll respond to them in the text after this is over. And if you're watching this later today, please leave your comments and words of encouragement for each other. And most people, we realize, do watch this later in the day. Very few people get to watch it live. We're very thankful for those of you that do. And if you're watching this later and you can put this on the calendar where you can watch it live, well, please join us next time. We appreciate that.
Along these lines of seeing someone, one of the hardest things to do is seeing someone who needs the help. In the past couple of weeks, I've helped this one family in particular, and both parents were declining, and the adult daughter has stepped up to the plate and is literally taking care of both parents' needs, and it's. I just kind of sat back and watched them in Mom and Dad's home and watched her meet their needs, and it was so hard on her because she's our generation, and it's like she was always taught to respect her elders, and it's like Mom and Dad always took care of everything, and here she is stepping in, taking care of them, and she almost cried with each different task because it was hard for her to admit that they couldn't do this anymore.
Yeah.
She had to, and with her help, they're able to manage, but they couldn't do it without her. And I sat down and I explained to her how much this is going to change her life, and encouraged her to join the group. So I hope she's on with us today.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a biggie, and
It's
that don't get talked
huge.
about very much. That it maybe the work's not physically that hard, but just every little task, it was like a realization, like mom or dad can't do this anymore.
Can't.
They can't fry an egg, and prepare their breakfast, or I mean things that's just the simplest things that they've done for years, and you think, well, they can do that. Well, they've gotten to the point they can't, and they need your help, and just that's kind of a slap in the face. Like, mom needs my help doing the simplest of things.
Yeah.
That's kind of a biggie.
Standing up.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Anyway, let's support each other, because these things, particularly this time of year, the holidays just have a way of just like turning up the old emotion meter, times 20, and and things that, it hurts sometimes, but that's why we need each other during these times of the year. Tammy, thank you for that. Susan says, seeing someone need the help, that's the one we just talked about.
Yes, I want to go back to the question that Jennifer posted was, what's the hardest thing you have to do as a caregiver?
Right.
And I want to point that out specifically because of the response of this next person.
Okay, Carol says, sometimes transfers, hygiene, showers.
That's always hard. That's always hard, because if you have a loved one. No, okay, so let's go back to the example I just gave of the daughter who had always, had parents that were taking care of themselves, always. And now, yeah, it's kind of hard. You're going to have to help mom and dad take a shower. Ooh, how do you do that? I mean, literally, she asked me, how do I do this?
And we see it all the time where maybe the daughter is the family caregiver and the parent in need is dad.
Yeah.
And, if dad's got any ounce of cognitive ability left, he's not going to be too excited about daughter
Exactly.
giving him a shower, or vice versa.
Exactly.
And we see, or, if we see it all the time, son is the caregiver member and mom is the one in need of help, and son says, can't go there.
Yeah.
And so what do we do? So
you walk them through the process, and especially, and it gets even harder if your loved one has dementia and it's advanced, and number one, they don't like showers, they don't like water. So you've got to talk them into getting into the shower and kind of bribe them. So, and just as you're getting them into the shower, talk about positive things. And then when they get in there, and put a towel over them so the water doesn't hit them and they don't react to that. And then say, Mom, if we finish the shower, we're going to go get some ice cream.
Yay!
Mom always loves ice cream. So
kind of immediate change of state.
Exactly. So you just walk through a step at a time. It is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is one I was talking about. What is one of the hardest things you have to do as a family caregiver?
Well, interaction with other family members.
Interaction
That's
with
never
other
hard, is it?
It's, and that's one of the biggest topics we have
Yeah,
with family
a
members that
biggie.
will not help. They live across the street, for goodness sake, and they won't come over here and help.
Yeah, I have to drive in from another town to help mom, and sister just lives right across the street. And yeah.
And it's really frustrating, and I used to let it frustrate me, and then I finally realized, okay, that raises my stress level, and stress level is not good for me, so just got to bring it back down and say, what
Deep
goes
cleansing
around,
breath.
Exactly. What goes around comes around.
And in specifically some of these comments we've gotten here lately, and there've been several of them and I mentioned this earlier. Sure, your siblings are busy. We got that. You're busy too. We're all busy. So
That's why we're here together, though.
Yeah.
We're all the ones that wanted to be the caregivers. We chose to be the caregivers, and we're doing a great job.
And so find something and try it. They may say no. They may say no, but try to find some specific thing that your a sibling can do. You know, can you do this? Can you go grocery shopping for mom?
Grocery shopping.
You know, can you go by the pharmacy and pick up her prescription meds? You know, can you, maybe if they really want to get out there, can you take her to the doctor on Thursday? You know, that's going to take 2 hours or 4 hours, a big block of time. Can you do that? You know, can you find something very specific? If they live on the other side of the country, can you, you know, coordinate the vendors for me this week, the outside caregivers coming in, and whatever else needs to be done? Can you do her accounting? You know, keep up with all of this online. I mean, there's specific things. As long as someone's got a phone and an internet connection, they can do several things to help. And if they'll do anything, that helps in several ways. If mom still knows what's going on, she will appreciate it, because one of her other kids that lives across the country, and she knows that, is actually doing something to help. And so, you know, next time mom and kid across the country talk, they'll have something to talk about. And it'll help you. It'll take a little piece of something that you've been spending time on off of your plate. And it'll help them to feel better about themselves, like, hey, I'm actually doing something to help. So it's worth a shot. You know, worth a shot may not work.
New year, new family.
Yeah.
So give them a chance. Just ask them to do one thing.
Give them a chance. Kara Burke, when my mom was still alive, the hardest thing for me to do alone was bathing and diaper changes.
Yes. Yeah. That I still have a place in my back that hurts because of lifting mom to change her, and yeah, it is extremely difficult.
And
it's almost impossible to do alone.
Yeah. Get some training on this. We found out after the fact, and many of you watching this are professional caregivers, and you know, I mean, the rest of us don't, but there's a right way. There's a right way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do things. If you do it the wrong way, you're going to hurt your back. And, you know, transfers, bathing, you know, diaper changes, all of that good stuff. Moving from the bed to the wheelchair and back.
If you're going to lift, do it properly.
But get some training. I mean, there's folks in your area. You know, check with your doctor's nurse. You know, at the hospital, social workers, and they can refer you to people in your area that can help you with all of that. It can help you learn the right way to do it. Okay, Cindy is caregiver. Your thoughts? Do you think the person we care for, basically, what do you feel they need?
Do they need a bedtime? Do you feel they need a bedtime? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just
curious. My mom will stay up all night. I finally have to say, okay, bedtime. And there are times she just says, I will go to bed when you do. Keep in mind she has dementia. I feel she needs a bedtime. Have to wake her up every morning for breakfast when she can take her meds. She does take a 2-hour nap each day. What do you think?
Absolutely.
You know, and we had,
yes.
There have been several instances like this where we've seen that a caregiver would take their loved one to a geriatric physician, which makes all the difference in the world a lot of times, tell them what's going on, and sometimes it's just something as simple as a change in their meds. One lady that she knew well was caring for her husband, and she was about to pull her hair out because he was up just like roaming all night, you know, just up going through the drawers in the house, open, closing, just walking around, and she couldn't sleep while that was going on. And then finally, when, you know, sun comes up, time for her to get up and start her day, she's exhausted because she got literally no sleep that night, and then he's asleep, or he naps on and off all day. So yes, something's got to be done. You can't function. I saw her one day, and she said, "Excuse my appearance. I thought she looked fine." She said, and she's like 78 years old. So I haven't slept any in like 2 weeks. Well, I know how I would be. I'd probably comatose, you know, if I didn't sleep in 2 weeks. And she just trying to be awake all day and all night, and one person can't do that, and that's not good for your loved one either. I mean, they would need some regular sleep time, and we're not medical folks. I mean, we're not doctors, but talk to your doctor about this and see what they can do to help. Sometimes it's just simple medication changes.
And two, with someone with dementia, you can lead them into doing things. So lead her into the bedtime, to say positive things, make it look real comfortable, and tell her you're going to go to bed too. And then, because she does need her sleep, and she does need to be awake when she needs to take her medications. And my mom liked to have her naps, but she also wanted all of her sleep. And if you woke her up to take medicine, it wasn't a good thing. So see if you can get her. You won't be able to get your mom on a regular schedule, but if you can walk her towards bedtime in the evening, get her to start sleeping. Medications may help for sure, but just trying to walk her through that and get her into bed so you can get her up the next morning, get her medications, and start a new day.
And Gerald's question very similar to that. Cheryl says, several bundled into one, the balance of taking care of them, your own family, your job, everything that goes with it. You need your job to take care of your family. You need to be in charge of everything that goes on with your parents. Find time to spend with your family, to go to games they play, school function, the list goes on and on. You have to find the balance, and anything can throw it out of kilter. It's all about doing the right thing and knowing you did the best. Well, amen, Cheryl, that's it. It's all about, and it's finding the balance, and if you can look yourself in the mirror at night and say, hey, I'm not Wonder Woman or Superman, you know, I did the best I could do. You know, I did the best I could do, because as far as I know, you can't be in two places at once. I've tried that, doesn't work too well. So,
but I think as caregivers, we probably should have capes, though, because we are at some point Superman or Wonder Woman, because we do a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Taking care of your loved one and your family and yourself.
You know, and there've been a lot of comments on here lately about balance and balance and setting boundaries, and I think that's a big part of it. You just got to know, hey, this is what I can do, and you know, if I try to do everything all the time, number one, I can't. Number two, I'm gonna drive myself crazy, and number three, I'm gonna burn out. I gotta have, you know, something. This is a new year, so we need to reevaluate this thing. We need to have a family meeting. We need to talk about what needs to be done. You know, look at mom's finances, look at her legal docs, look at if she still can have input, look at her preferences, what does she want. We got to do what we can to make this work. And maybe it's working fine like it is now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke and you're trying to, you know, running around and juggling, trying to put hold everything together, then something needs to be done. So get with the family and see if you can do that. And
we do have some good tips in the family meeting course. So
yes.
If you're interested in getting some of that information, I'd love to just talk about it, because it is some really good information, and sometimes you have really good ideas that we haven't thought about. So why don't we do this on Wednesday? Let's talk about getting family involved. If any of you have been successful in getting some of your family members involved, let's talk about that on Wednesday on the LiveCast. And then
so Wednesday, tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll do it tomorrow. So tomorrow. So be back here tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. So tell them again what we're talking about.
The family meeting course is one that we have. So we'll pull some information out of that and talk about it, things that you might not have thought about. And we would like some feedback from you about if you've had any success getting any of your family members to help what you did. How did you do it? Because there are a lot of others that are going, tell me your secret. How do we get the family to help? So let's talk about that tomorrow. I think.
And there is a good blog post at helpmehelpmomma.com called, appropriately enough, Family Meetings. Look at that. That's your homework for tomorrow. Read that post on helpmehelpmomma.com and get a few tips and write down your questions and your comments and your input. And that'll be, I'd love to hear what you guys think, what you got to say, because you're doing it too. So we appreciate that.
We need to crack the code so we can get more family members involved in being family caregivers.
So helpmehelpmomma.com, that's your homework, and to view this course or to where it's at, it's caregiversportacademy.com. We got all these .coms, but anyway, it's a place for us to go, and all of this information helps. So, but for tomorrow, the blog post, helpmehelpmomma.com, is Family Meetings course. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your input and your questions and your support. Thanks for sharing this with other family caregivers. I know it'll help them. We're all in this together, so thank you.
And thank you for being a caregiver for your loved one. You're making a huge difference in their life.